Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new, please subscribe because you'll just help us grow massively. We'll have a light target of 150. So, nice big weekend for Villa. Dino, 3 years in the job. I think for any manager, that's no mean feat. You look at what's happened at Watford last weekend. That their manager got him promoted and he's had the chop a couple of games in and sitting pretty tidy. So I think, it's just pretty good, and we all love him on this channel, and I can't think of a better guy that I would want managing this football club. So we're going to touch on Dino, we're going to touch on Douglasluiz as well, and then we'll have everybody's thoughts on sort of the first 7 games. So as you can see, we've got Ashley on today. So what's Dino like to be around, and what do you make of his 3 years at Villa?
Yeah, what you see is what you get with Dino, really. Very down to earth. Really good bloke, and he gives you a lot of time, and it's a pleasure to speak to him. I think it's a pleasure. He's our manager. He's done really well, hasn't he? 3 years on Sunday, he's been in the job, and it just seems like longer than that, doesn't it? Given what we've been through and how quick we've done it in as well. So, yeah, Dean, top man. Get on with him really well. He lives not too far from me down the road. Yeah, his roots are still here in Birmingham as well. A great bar lad as well. And yeah, got a lot of time for him, likewise as well. So, yeah, I don't want anyone else managing the club at the moment. Do you know what I mean? He epitomises what we're all about. He's coming on strong as well. He's developing it in his own way as a Premier League manager, and very forward thinking, as you know. I think the stint at Brentford helped with all the analytics that came with that as well, and that's helped Villa's recruitment drive as well. And yeah, very very forward thinking manager, and he's evolving as well. Like he develops the players. I think he's developing as a Premier League manager, and he's very astute, and I think he's one of the best in division. And given what he's done, he has his critics, don't he, Luke? But it's up to him now to prove again. But he's got a knack of doing that, hasn't he? Every time that the fingers are raised, he pulls out a result and he comes on strong. So I expect him to be, here for a long time yet. But again, he'll have to prove himself this season to kick on. So, but yeah, all in all, great bloke, like me, you, Jay, sitting here, Ryan as well, one of us kind of thing. So. Yeah, one of the lads, and he's in the biggest job of them all, isn't he?
And he's in the best job that he could possibly ever want to be in, the club that he's supported as a kid as well. And I think as a Villa fan, there's no better guy that I would want managing this football club. You could offer me anybody, but the connection that I think a lot of Villa fans have with Dino as well is just top quality. Justin, do you want to add a few words on Dino?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I agree with Ash. It seems like he's been our manager forever now. I think it's because we were so used to sort of chopping and changing our managers over quite a short space of time, wasn't it? We seemed to get through managers like they're going out of fashion at one point. And obviously, when Brucey got the boot, it came down to I think it was him or Thierry Henry, wasn't it? Which seems really bizarre to think like that now, that it was a toss up between them two. Just imagine where we'd be now if they'd have gone down the Henry route. I think we'd have been probably still in the Championship in disarray. So, yeah, you can't really fault him for what he's done. He took us over halfway up the table in the Championship. Yes, we had owners which looked like they were going to push us on, but he still had to do it on the pitch, didn't he? He still had to sort out the team, get everything going. And he's done it amazingly. We were talking on the group this week, you can't really believe what he's done in such a relative short space of time. If you think where we were and where we are now, you've got to just take your hat off to him. He's evolved the club. He's pushed the club on. He's progressed the club every single season. The recruitment side of it, which I'm sure, although he probably doesn't have a hands-on approach every single day in, day out, he has a lot to do with. The coaching staff, as we've seen this season, is involved again. So he obviously has a lot to do with that. It'd be interesting to see just how much input he has on a day-to-day basis. Maybe Ash could give us some information on that. But he does seem to be a hands-on manager that likes to be on the training ground with the team. And I think he likes to be around the team day in, day out, doesn't he? He comes across as a really nice bloke, very down to earth. But I think he has got a tough side to him as well, which we've seen. And I agree with everybody, on this pod, we'll all agree that, at the moment and hopefully for the very long-term future, I don't want anybody else, managing Villa. I want him to be the manager that takes us back to the very top. And I just hope he can do it, really.
Yeah, definitely. Ryan, you forgot to pay the electricity bill. What's happened?
Oh, yeah. You won't believe I'm a Sparky, would you?
That's what I mean. If only you knew an electrician.
Oh, yeah.
What would you make of Dino then? 3 years?
Yeah, like the lads have been saying, yeah. I don't think he's a better candidate for manager in this period for our football club. Like, he took over. And we was in a mess, really. We had some talented players in the squad. You know, we had Grealish and we had Abraham, but the squad was so disjointed. You know what I mean? Jedinak was playing in defence. James Bree was playing centre half as well, and we was just in the right mess. And he come and picked all them pieces up that Dr. Tony and Bruce left behind, and he got us promoted in the first season. Unreal. And second season, we come up with 9 players, and he still kept us up and got us to a cup final. So, you know, he's been superb. He's constantly evolving. Yes, he makes mistakes, but one thing I love about Dino is he learns from them. And, you know, he's on this journey again with us because he's never been a Premier League manager, and he's learning on the job as well. But when he does make these mistakes, he rectifies them and he evolves. And I just his all-round handling of the squad, the way he handles himself and he protects his players, and the way he's handled the youth lately as well. Ramsey, bringing him in, trusting him in big games as well. Weren't afraid to throw Chukwuemeka and Bidace on at Tottenham away at the end of last season. So we're in good hands. We're in really, really good hands, like Justin said. The coaching side of it as well, he consistently improving that. You know, he hasn't brought big names in. He's brought coaches that has earned the right to coach at this level, that have proven themselves, and they're progressive, they're forward thinking. We're thinking outside the box. You know, this set piece coach that has come in, no one else is really doing that in the Premier League as well. And it's paying off straight away. It's not like we're waiting for this world-class corners to come in or this throwing. It's happening all the time. So, yeah, superb. And hopefully he gets a new deal soon because it's running low, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, a couple of things I like from Dino is we all know he evolves the players, but I feel like he has evolved as a coach. You know, along the journey, he's made mistakes. We're up and down at times, but I think he's a real good coach. He's got the better hand of Klopp, Tuchel. You know, the way he had us playing last season and in parts so far this season is really good. Bringing in, like you say, different coaches to make us better. And I think he's the face of Villa at the minute as well, isn't he? Justin, you was at the game the other night in Burton. Dino was there. You know, you don't always see managers going to all these games, but he's virtually every single one as well. So I think it's massive. But his contract is running low. So what do you make of it then, Ash? What's going to happen?
Yeah, it's getting to that time again, isn't it? Conversation needs to be had. His last extension was, what is it, November in the promotion year, 2019, so on a 4-year deal then. So after the back of a couple of good results. So you go into this little cluster of games now. I think a couple of wins, a couple of positive results. I think the contract will be there for him. I think the owners believe in him. And given what he's done today, I think Christian Perslow believes in him. So I expect it to happen if results are forthcoming. Like anything, it's a results business. He needs to get results. Otherwise, the fingers start getting pointed. So pressure's on Dino all the time, but I think he deals with pressure quite well. Really well, to be fair. He's always calm as well, even in defeat. He rants at the referee after the game, but he generally is calm. He's never too low. That's his famous quote, isn't it? Never too low in defeat and never too high in victory. So even after Man U, he said, he played it down. He said, you need to back it up now, and they're never at Spurs. So he'll be disappointed about that one. But contract-wise, a couple of good results. I think it'd be there for him in this similar time period as when he signed his last one. So watch his space regarding that one. He's running low, like Justin and Ryan said. So, yeah, he needs a couple of results, and I think the owners will have it there for him to sign.
So talking about another contract, one player I hope stayed this summer was obviously Douglas Luiz. We all knew that obviously he got this little clause from Man City. And I don't know, I just got a weird vibe with Luiz that I just don't think he's going to stick around for some reason. It's just my initial thought that's just in my head at the minute. So is there any murmurings of him getting a deal or anything?
Have you seen he just slagged off the Brazilian TV pundit, and he's seen that?
Yeah, I saw that, to be fair.
He loves Villa, to be fair, mate, and I think Dean Smith loves him as well. He started 6 consecutive games. He had a little break after the Olympics, and Dean Smith started him every single game. Dean Smith believes in him big time. he's a bit of an enigma, isn't he? You can see him, he classy one game, the next game, like Spurs, he gets a bit missing, but he's only 23, you know, the ceiling's really high with him. I don't think he turns 24 till May. So, given these experiences to date, he's been in a relegation battle, he's played under Pep, he's done loads, and it's about just evolving him now as a player. So, yeah, I think the contract talks will start soon. They need to. But at the moment, they're not in no rush to do so. I think starting 6 consecutive games since he's come back tells you all you need to know about what Smith and Villa think of Douglas. So I think he's here to stay, Luke. I really do. And a couple of more good performances, I think the contract to be there for him. So we'll see. But he's a bit of an enigma, isn't it? I don't know what the lads think of Douglas Luiz week in, week out. But on the player rating side of things, he's a nightmare, really. Some days he's good and some days he's not. And then if you give him a low mark, everyone think, what are you on about? He's one of them players that are hard to mark. You don't really recognise him. But when he's in full flow, when he's confident, he gets that Samba style out, and his first time pass, he's a good way to pass. He's really good to watch. So yeah, a bit of an enigma, hard to mark, like I say. But I like him, and given his age, given what he's achieved, Olympic gold medalist in the Brazilian team, I think £15 million Villa paid for him. I think he's worth double that now, if you're asking me. I think hopefully he's a long career at Villa, and he's learning all the time. He's still a young player, and I'd keep him around. I really would. I don't know what the other lads think.
Yeah, I think he's quality. I love that little swagger. I think you saw that swagger when he moved further forward against Everton. I thought he looked really good. Ryan, Justin, Douglas Luiz?
Yeah, I think he's up there with one of our players of the season so far. I think he's come back from the Copa America full of confidence. I think he's come back as that player that come back after Project Restart. So yeah, I've been impressed, and like Luke say, he did look very impressive when he moved up into that like number 8 position and he was driving forward. He's got a couple of assists, hasn't he, this season? So he's adding that to his game. So there is that rumour of Roma that just never seems to go away. But you'd want to tie him down anyway to a new deal, because if he does move on, you wouldn't want to risk going into next season and losing him for say the 15 million that we paid for him. You'd want to make some money on him, and like Ash said, he's definitely worth double if not more of what we paid for him. But like you say, 23, still got the world at his feet, really, hasn't he? So and Dino as well, you know, he coaches players, doesn't he? He coaches them into better players. So it's a good fit at the minute, Luiz and Villa. So hopefully that continues.
Justin?
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, we saw the very, very best of him after we had, was it Project Restart? You know, we was all blown away by the levels he reached in that period. And I think that's sort of been something Villa fans beat him with ever since he sort of came out of that run of form, and then he's never really achieved that again. But I do see that coming back. I think if this season we've probably seen as close to that as we've seen in his whole time at the Villa, and I think he's just going to keep improving. I think it helped that he's had this momentum where he finished the season, then went into the Copa, then came back. He had a little break. But I think that's given him a bit of momentum going into our season. And I know what you mean, Ash, about marking him, because unless he's sort of doing something flamboyant, he does sort of go, not missing as in when you're watching the game, but he's hard to sort of keep an eye on, isn't he? Because he likes to link the play. So a lot of the time it's just give and go. But his tracking's very good. His tackling for a small stature chap, he's very good as well. And his reading of the game's very good. You know, he's got all the attributes to be a top class midfielder, which he's not far off from being now. He's just got to add that consistency to his game, which if he hits the 8s and 9s every single week, then he is going to be a very, very sought after player in world football. So I do think we need to get him tied down to the longer deal, whatever happens, because we all know what happens in football. We've been bitten a lot of times in the past with losing our better players. But I don't see him really wanting to go anywhere else at the moment, because I think he gets regular football at the Villa. Like you say, he started 6 games on the trot. It would have been interesting to see what would have happened if Sanson had been fully fit all season, because I think he's probably a similar type of player. We haven't really seen the best of him. So it will be interesting when he gets back fit to see what happens with the likes of Luiz in that role. But at the moment, he's really untouchable in that position of Villa. There's not anybody really that can play that role as well as he can. So he's got a little bit of a free rein at the moment just to keep the momentum going. But as long as he keeps the performances up that he's been doing, 7 or 8 times out of 10, then he doesn't really. There's nobody else to come in and take his position. But we don't want to see him dropping off like he did against Spurs, because I think that's where we lost that game. Ultimately, our midfield three just didn't get hold of the game enough. Against Everton and Man United, they were outstanding in the middle, and they sort of created the wins really for us, because they never sort of let the standards drop. But against Spurs, we did drop. Those three did drop performance wise, and ultimately cost us the game. But yeah, I think tie him up to a deal as soon as possible. And like you say, Dino's great at bringing the players on like he has been. So I think Dino likes him as well, which is great for him. I think he gets the confidence to go out there and play. But yeah, for me, he's a fantastic footballer, and I'm glad he's a Villa player.
Good stuff. So 7 games in, 10th in the Premier League. Ash, how are you feeling Villa are doing, and how far do you think we're going to go this season? Like how up can we go? Sorry.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I rated it the other day at work. I said 7 out of 10, but even that feels a bit harsh to me, given the results. Man U, that one, blowing away Everton in the style they did. Yeah, but I don't think we know. I said before, the little cluster just gone. We'll know more after going to Tottenham, Chelsea, Man U. But now I think the next one against Arsenal, Southampton, West Ham, and who's the other one there? Wolves. I think we know a bit more then, because they're the sides in and around us. They're the sides we want to be above. So for the season so far, 7 games in, obviously we've got a bop on the nose on the opening day. But other than that, I think it's been pretty good value, to be fair. Even going down to Chelsea the way they did. There were good value there. The seeds of belief were sown, Smith told me, after Man U, after Chelsea. So it's been good. I think it's been good. Given the situations they've had, injuries, Bailey hasn't been ideal, has it? They've had the COVID issues, the quarantine, Martinez, Buendia. I think they've done well. They've come out of it pretty unscathed. They're in 10th. I think that's probably about right. And I think they've done well. Good start, solid start. Obviously, the fixture Brentford, Newcastle, Watford, you want a bit more points and for the manage, but other than that, I think they've gone to the big boys, did okay apart from. But last week was a big disappointment for me. I thought Tottenham were there for the taking, especially after equalising as well. I thought, go on then. And then a couple of minutes later, Son did what he does. So, yeah, that one's a bit stinging a little bit for me, but it goes to show how far we've come. Like, if you're raging after that. But from the start, 7 games in, 10 points. I think it's about saying, I think, good start. And this next couple of games now, this next 4 games, before the November internationals, I think it'd be good to rate them then and see how far they can go. So, yeah, I think Deansmith's got a lot to ponder over the next week or so. Systems, loads going on. Whether he sticks with the 2 and the 3 at the back, and with Bailey coming back. So we'll know a lot more once the team sheets fall for Wolves, and after that one, I think. But I don't know what you guys think, but good start from me. Could do better.
Yeah, I think it was. The key one for me as well was when, obviously, you see the team sheet when we're playing Everton, and pretty much everyone was in that squad, weren't they? You got Buendia, you got Bailey, everyone was fit, everyone was firing, and we were absolutely brilliant, weren't we? And injuries again have sort of like brought the vibe a little bit lower down, haven't they? And you've got key players missing, and I think we just can't really catch a break on that front at the minute, can we? But I'm pretty pleased with where we are. I just feel like when all those players come back, we can sort of like kick on. So when I was on BBC WM the other day, and Daz Hale asked me, what would you rate Villa's season so far? And I said 7. Ryan, what would you give us? And Justin?
Yeah, I think I agree with you too, 7, but with the potential to move a lot higher. Like we had the Grealish transfer in the summer, didn't we? Then there's quite a few friendlies got cancelled because of COVID. The international breaks have not helped us one bit. The injuries as well. So it's just a stuttering start. It's like 3 games, and then it's like 2 weeks of twiddling our thumbs, waiting for the next batch of 3 games. Now there's internationals. I'm fed up of internationals at the minute, to be fair. Doing me head in. I just want to get back down to Villa. By the time we get back down to Wolves, it would have been a whole month without even going Villa Park. So I'm craving a bit of the old end, I am. So, but I feel like we're in a really good place squad-wise. This is the strongest squad that we've had under Dean Smith's under Dean Smith's reign. And I'm excited about it. If we can get everyone up to speed, get Bailey fit, get him in the team, get him having a run of games, integrate Buendia in a bit more. Like, obviously he went to Argentina, so that's set him back a bit, but he hasn't gone this time. So it's a good 2 weeks to work with him now. I think defensively we've been sound. So it's all there. It's all there to have a real good go now in these next 4 games. And I'm looking forward to it. And next week on Twitter, everyone's just going to be putting their team selections on Twitter right now. No one's going to have a Scooby-Doo. How we're going to do, if we're going to go 3 at the back, 2 up top, but 3 midfield wingers or what. We ain't going to have a clue until 2:00 on Saturday when that lineup's announced. But I'm looking forward to it.
That time on Twitter is the worst. Everyone starts arguing, don't they? Everyone's arguing. Why have you put him in there? What are you doing? Like, it's a joke. I wouldn't even, Ryan, don't even do it on the channel.
I'm not getting involved, mate. Not getting involved.
Yeah, no one do it. Justin?
Yeah, I think you always used to say you could assess how your season's going after 10 games. I think that's a fair chunk of games, isn't it, to say, right, okay, this is where we are now, this is where we're going to be fighting out. And we've got 3 games to go now until that point. And as long as we get some reasonable performances, and we've got, 2 home games, we've got Wolves, then Arsenal away, then West Ham at home. Tricky games. Wolves have hit a bit of form, haven't they? And we've got to be on it to get a result there. Arsenal, as terrible as they've been, they showed against Tottenham that they have still got a lot of very good players, and if they're on it on that day, it's a tough game. And West Ham, the last 18 months, have been very good. So they're no gimmies by any stretch. But I think, as well, and I agree about the international breaks. I hate them because it means we can't watch the Villa. But conversely, I think sometimes they have helped us this season, trying to get these players that have got these little niggles, trying to get them back and available. I'm hoping this one will allow us to get Bailey back. So hopefully he'll be available for the Wolves game. But overall, I think it's been an all right start. We're always greedy, aren't we? No matter how many points we'd have got, we'd have said, if we could have only just won that one, we could have got another 2 points, 3 points. It is what it is. We are where we are. I think ultimately we should be happy where we are. We're still bedding in players. We're still trying to, we are trying to, we've changed system as well. We not overlook that. We've gone from a very rigid 4-3-3 to all of a sudden we've got wing backs and we've got all these options now. So it's not something that's going to happen overnight. You can't just throw a new formation in and expect it to work straight away. I think we're going to revert back to 4-3-3 for the Wolves game. But so all these different variables that you're chucking in all the time with injuries and all this thing and internationals, I think we're pretty happy where we are at the moment. I think if we can get a cup, it may be 4 or 5 points in the next 3 games. I think we'll be in a really good position then to attack Christmas, which is a busy period, and then the transfer window opens again, so we may even see one more player come in then. But I think we'll be fine this season. I think we're in a good position. We've got a good squad, we've got a good manager, and we're all buzzing for it.
Cool. Right, we'll leave it there then. That's just a little bonus episode from us in this break. And big up Dino. And thanks for coming on, Ash.
Anytime, lads, man. Enjoyed that.
Cool. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.